Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, May 15th. Enjoying this roller coaster ride of real estate. So if you primarily do listings or you plan to, one of the uncomfortable parts of listing a property and getting under contract, the thing that you want is when the buyer side starts doing their inspections and sending the inspection report. And I've primarily up until this point sold single family residences or residents that had some income potential I was able to list in the listing description. And I have one on the market that has an active mother-in-law suite that the owner is a super host for Airbnb. So people are in there constantly in and out, and she's making good income from it, but she wants to sell the property in general. So, but now I'm under contract for two properties. The one we're going to talk about today is a duplex that I have in St. Pete. With active tenants in it. So it's an income producing property. And the buyer's agent just got back to me last night saying, hey, we have the inspection report. We're gonna be asking for A, B, and C. And my eyebrows jumped because I'm like, what? That's ridiculous. However, I didn't see the report. So she said she sent the report. Turns out she sent it to like my brokerage email address, which is probably supposed to do, but we've been communicating back and forth. So on my regular Gmail, agents tend to hop around brokerages every couple of years. So I always have my stuff going through my Gmail just because, if in case I ever leave my my brokerage to join another, I don't want to have a slew of emails that are lost to me. So she finally sent me the inspection report, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, this inspection reports, you tend to see the buyers ask for a lot of repairs, a lot of it's the inspector's job to find problems. And this inspector was 100% thorough. I took his card because he was on the property almost 3 hours, doing what he needs to do to earn his paycheck. But it came up with some things that I'm going to bring up to my client, the seller, because they're asking for not an insignificant amount of concessions towards closing. They have an appraiser coming. They're scheduling. They still want to move forward with this transaction, but the list of things that the inspector found for a property that's less than 2 years old, is amazing. That being said, these things are what they are, and if this transaction doesn't go through, these are things we're going to have to declare because they've been found on an inspection report recently. So I'm looking over it, and they are asking for more than I think is fair. But the things that they are asking for are things that are, on the property, things that could use some TLC. I'm not an engineer or an architect or a contractor myself, so I will not say that things that need to be replaced. That's just their argument, and that's going to come up. That's going to come up in terms of negotiations. But reading it, it is an exercise in ridiculousness. However, I take the inspector at his word. He seemed ridiculously competent, and I'm not gonna lie. This is the type of gentleman I want to work with. What the buyer is doing with that information, though, is not something I'm necessarily pleased with. That being said, this is just part of what happens with properties that come on the market, that get under contract, and the process begins. So it's not a situation, and I don't want to kid you, that oftentimes you'll get a property, you get under contract, and it closes and there's no problems. I've had that happen before, and it's wonderful. It's great. When things do get bogged down, it's my job basically to herd these cats and make the situation work. In this case, I don't believe I'll have to do the buyer's agent's job any more than she's doing it. She seems to be a competent agent. But I'm going to have to do some negotiations because we're not going to give the concessions that they're asking for to the extent that they're asking for. We want this deal to go through, but they're looking for a home run, and I think they should be satisfied with a base hit. Given the fact that this duplex is fully rented, there's active current paying tenants in each unit. Some of these things are, they don't have to put on us or as a concession. They can just charge the tenants when they renew the leases. Increase the leases so that they can fund these repairs that they're looking for. And again, some of these things are nice to haves, and the one or two things that they're marking as important, or in the term of the inspector as critical, I definitely think we can negotiate, because there's no reason my client needs to make such steep concessions. So that's what I'm dealing with today, this Thursday. On the duplex, everything seems to be going well. We're about to get our deposit tomorrow, Friday. On the quadruplex in Tampa, we're going to get our deposit on Friday. And that one, ironically, even though we went under contract 2 weeks later than this deal, will close faster. They're only looking for 21 days in Tampa to close. This one was looking for more, about 5.5 weeks. So again, first world problems. Everything goes well. My family will reap the benefits. Two buyers will inherit some great properties, and life will go on. My goal is to get through today successfully into tomorrow for next week, all the way to the closing table. All right, so wish me luck on my conversations with my seller. And yeah, you guys have a great day. Talk to you later.